At the Roots picnic, Jay-Z dropped a freestyle, and it was not only so well done, but it was the beauty of hip hop in its most purest form possible. Now, a lot of people are talking about the disses that he had that involved Drake and Kanye and Torey Lanez and Nicki Minaj, and I'm going to get into that and a lot more. So, without further ado, let's begin.
Had he started 100, if she would have transitioned before I cleared my name, I would have hunted them. Every one of them playing these silly games. That 1-800 ambulance chaser would have wished one came. But now I'm
all right, so let's stop here. So this is in reference to Tony Busby, the sexual assault case lawsuit that was filed against him in 2025. It was dismissed in federal court, and Jay denied the accusations, claiming the woman's attorney, Busby, was trying to extort him. Part of this was also that gave it away is the ambulance chaser line, because he's making reference to Busby as seen right here, who describes the attorney as trying to make a buck off the controversy. And Jay expressed relief that his grandmother was alive to see his name cleared, and he issued a warning that he could have gone way further, and it could have gotten way uglier. So he would also say this, that the legal team engaged in multiple acts of deception during the dismissed case, and the filing argues that the alleged actions warrant a new claim, and it allows damages against the attorneys accused of intentionally deceiving courts. So basically what he's saying is, I'm not done here. Let's continue.
But 911 is a joke. Public enemy #1, I've been ranked. The rock's not crumbling.
All right, there's a lot here. First off, shout out to Public Enemy. And also locally in Chicago, shout out to Riot Fest, because I got to see, a bucket list performance right here in our own backyard.
The rock's not crumbling. The leprechauns have magically run out of pranks. Your son on a federal jail line mumbling something about having too much in his drink. You know how dumb that is? Another one fumbled his, wonder how I get the blame.
This is a clear reference to Tory Lanez. And if you haven't heard it, that call that he had when he was in jail was just stupidity of epic proportions, truly, because it was used against him in court. You got to always know that they're recording all of this. The leprechaun reference, it's because Tory Lanez is tiny. He stands at about 5'3". The pranks line was interpreted by some in the context of Tory's previous efforts to challenge the conviction in his shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. And then the whole crumbling bit was because, let's lower this, was because of Tory Lanez's dad, who was outside of the courthouse and said this.
But I'm telling you, this court system is not for justice. It's about wins and losses, and they do dirty to do whatever they can. JA಼-Z, let me speak to you.
He has kids.
Rock Nation,
yes.
Because my son refused to sign a Rock Nation deal with you.
Yes.
And Desiree Perez, you wicked witch, you snitch.
Yes.
You turned on your co-conspirators, all the whole mafia, one of you that was peddling drugs in this country, and you rolled on them before so the Fed could give you a deal. All of you, trust me, I have intercessors, prayer warriors around the world, and they will not stop until you are cut off.
Yes.
No, we don't shoot you with guns, but we know exactly how to bring you down in the spirit.
By the way, real quick, again, Tory Lanez's dad right here. If you want to know the Desiree Perez stuff and Rock Nation stuff, we covered it right here. We covered it on this channel with Jay-Z, Colin Kaepernick, and the NFL. Check it out on demand. So Sonstar Peterson, Lanez's dad, would not be done. Here's the crumbling line.
In the LAPD's office, tell me how there's no fingerprints. My God Almighty, I call heaven and earth to be a record today. That's that right. Rock Nation, right. You will crumble.
All right, so that's when Jay said the rock's not crumbling. It's because he's taking the words of Tory Lanez's own dad. We should also know and make mention of Tory Lanez was found guilty on all those charges. That was via a jury verdict. Meg, by the way, signed a deal with Rock Nation. We got more.
Niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth, and somehow I'm the one who done it. It's a murder mystery gang.
Direct reference to this.
See your clothing line. I want to see if you're the real deal. Just see if I'm the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hold on. Listen. Oh, God. Here, talk to him for a second.
What?
Just for a second.
What are you about to do?
All right. That's okay.
The Dame Dash. Dame Dash, who has had beef with... There it is. Who has had beef with Jay for a while. He rips Dame. He would do that over and over again.
You had to cash cow and thunk it. Was you who punked his? I'm the one who struck the pain. That hill you can die on. It's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly. What's understood don't need to be explained.
All right, so this was ridiculous. And what I caught initially was the line of like using Flack as in Roberta Flack, because she put out Killing Me Softly, and then obviously Lauryn Hill and the Fugees. Like, that is what I picked up on. I want to give a shout out to King Green, who is on King, whose YouTube username is King X Green, because he brought this to my attention. And this was way deeper than where I thought it went. So let's listen.
The hill is an allusion to Lauryn Hill on the world that Kanye was standing on, right? That was standing beside Kanye, right? That hill you could die on is an allusion to that, as well as saying, like, if that's what you want to stand for, to try to get bread and money, you can die on that hill to Kanye. And he's also saying it's way too much flack that comes from those planes, which is 100% saying messing with Rock Nation ain't a good look.
That was awesome. Awesome. Because when I saw Lauryn Hill come out with Kanye, like, was I surprised? Like, no, not necessarily, but it was still disappointing. Like, I could put up with her being an hour and a half late. I even experienced it at Camp Flogna, Dodger Stadium parking lot, where she had, I think, an hour 15, hour and a half set, hour 10, something like that. And I think she played for 30 minutes. Like, I can deal with it. But now you're dying on the hill with a Nazi, a man who puts out a song called Heil Hitler. No, not going to cut it. But again, fantastic. Truly.
You want it one way, it's the other. I still on you suckers, I'm all of you gang. I ain't much for meetings, no how. Cancel the brunches, I remember the hunger pain. The price of the bricks going up. It's gonna cost you a B to even say my name.
Dope as hell. So unbelievably good. A lot of B references, like, you know, Beyonce, Blue Ivy, the amount of money, being a billionaire, which is completely unethical. I do not stand for any of that. Say My Name, part of Destiny's Child. Obviously, Beyonce being a part of that. One of their biggest hits was Say My Name. But also, the Marlo reference was with The Wire, which was really, really dope as well. So let's continue. Here's the Kanye part.
Heard of a wonder kid? My children is some of them. Have you no shame? You're trying to get under skin? I really get under skin as an unharmed player. Y'all thugs with y'all thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch y'all saniac in my presence shrink. I need a new therapist. It's not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think.
Okay. So direct shots at Kanye, and the unreference was from Lance Rivera, excuse me, when JAY-Z pled guilty to the misdemeanor charge for stabbing him. So when he says, like, really get under skin, obviously with words and then also physically, because He did it. I mean, that was just... There's another part in all of this with Wonderkin. He's speaking glowingly of the kids that he has and how Kanye went on that one of many deranged Twitter rants where he used the R slur talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids, like just like using his Twitter thumbs to go at the guy who put you on is just like, I don't know. It's just terrible.
I love that bar just because it's great wordplay. He's like, you think that you're insane, but you're actually a shrink. Like, to play that antithesis with your ability, saying that, oh, you're crazy on the internet saying all these things, but if I came to you in person, you would shrink. And the double meaning of shrink being small and being a therapist. So it's like, you're actually very sane when I get into your space. That's crazy. Like, Jay-Z, like, this is like, he's dissing people with heavy entendres, with a full scheme throughout this whole freestyle. And people are only projecting and picking up like who he's talking about.
Yep. Exactly. All right, I'm going to interject here for a second. I know I said I would save it in the end, but I'm just going to go for it right now. This was a health booster for anyone who truly loves hip hop. It was nakedly awesome. When I can't tell you how many times I've watched this already and deciphered it and looked into it. This reminds me of like something that we just haven't had in a while. Like, we can dissect Kendrick's Super Bowl performance, you know, and the clues that he leaves and what this could mean and what that could mean. And yes, there was obviously the Drake diss in the end with Not Like Us. And this compelling nature of, is he going to say it? Is he not going to say it? Is he going to do the song? Is he not going to do the song? He teased through it. But this was just different. This was pure as water. Just effing gold, man. Because in this era we are in right now, we just haven't seen stuff like this. And Kendrick is incredible. But it felt like we filled a void here with so many years of BS controversy and who's saying who's the best. And then we have this dude saying, hey, by the way, I'm better than all of y'all. And on top of this, don't forget to mention my name because you look up to me. I did this before you and I still got it. It was just so good. I love every second of this. Every single second.
That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her king can't even take their kids. Enough of them.
Bars. All right, what was this in reference to? The Ken reference. Nicki's man. So why do we see this mugshot? We have talked about it a million times. I will do it once more. He was sentenced to probation and house arrest because he failed to register as a sex offender. That is who Nicki's man is. With the stuttering, he is intentionally stuttering to make fun of Nicki Minaj because she did this.
I only fuck with, I don't fuck with horses. I said it's 700 horses when we fixing to leave.
Doo-doo. Oh, God. Mage doo-doo. So that was the quick reference.
A rapper can't be my eye. I got MAGA Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God. You try to break the government.
All right, let's stop here. So Tory, who I really do like, also broke this down. So in his own words here, that is.
I got MAGA Republicans.
I'm too big to beef with a rapper. I got MAGA Republicans as ops. I'm dealing with real enemies.
Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them.
Government, good luck with them. When Nicki talks shit about JAY-Z, That's coming from the government. They're telling her to attack JAY-Z. And that's your people's now, Nicki?
His belief, of course, his belief.
Good luck with them.
I'm governed by God. You're trying to break the government.
Here we start a rhyme scheme about God and the Bible. Jay is saying, I answer to something higher than the government. And you broke your tie, your covenant, your agreement with God. But what God is he talking about? What does Jay call himself? Hove, as in Hova, Jehovah, Jehovah.
So then here's where everyone has picked up on the disses that JAY-Z had in his Roots Picnic freestyle. And with that, we turn to Drake. Here's what he said.
My next update, the jig is up. I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Look up the Hove. I never looked up to them. Got your publishing gangster, go talk tough to them. Don't talk success to me, you niggas is workers. In perpetuities, how your contract is worded. Don't make me go first, man.
Okay. Like, you can see who clearly has the upper hand. Who is out geniusing the other. I mean, it was just, oh, let's plug this. Words past DeMargin and Phil wrote in a post for Shatter the Standards. Here's what they wrote. For the issue of Drake not owning his catalog, while never specified, provides more emphasis on the lyrics than context. Owner and worker are the only way he draws the line, and he constantly frames himself as someone who never had to look up at anyone. I mean, that is a big part of this. Once more from Tory.
Chart, champ. You gotta look up again.
You're looking at the wrong chart, Drake. You think passing me on the Billboard list is what's hot? I'm way ahead of you on the Forbes list, the important list. You got more number ones. I got more money. That's the crux of the next bit. How is it that Drake has more number ones, but Jay-Z got more money?
Look up the Hove. I never looked up to them.
You look up to me like admiration, and you look up to me on the important list. I have never looked up to you as far as respecting you or being behind you on the list that matters.
That's the big one. That's the big one. Because with all of these beefs, it really is a defining rivalry of accolades and power. And Jay has been there forever. At one point, I saw Drake wearing a Sean Carter jersey. It's true. Why would Jay-Z look up to Drake? He's talking about having a number one. Jay-Z hasn't put out an album in how many years? I think he's going to put one out this year. He is a prolific Q4 guy. He always wants to close the show for each year that he puts out some form of artistry. Drake is beefing with like Ghost at this point because I don't think he could touch any of these guys. Tory and Mark Lamont Hill were even having a conversation, and Mark said he's an excellent rapper, as in Drake, which I would scoff at. Tory scoffed at. And they were going over, like, is he in your top 10? No. Top 20? No. Top 30? Maybe. Top 40? Definitely. From Mark. When I look at him, I don't know if he's a top 40 rapper. I think he is a quality artist. But bar for bar, he gets his behind handed to him by many, many dudes in the space. Many. Fantano also had an opinion on this. Let's check out the Music Nerd.
If anything, Drake kind of deserves that a little bit because he was the one on push-ups just being like, oh, come on, guys, drop. What are your deals looking like? Your deals aren't as impressive as my deal. Jay-Z seems to have some insight, though. And, you know, in terms of like having liquid cash and having more command over his like actual music and his catalog. Like, unfortunately, Drake is not in the position that Jay-Z's in. Even with Drake having as much money as he does and having as much success as he does, he's still very much like, you know, his music is owned by UMG, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can rage against Lucian all he wants. Like, you know, that's not going to change anything. He's locked into that, you know, his albums, his music, his publishing, it's locked into that contract. Unless he starts like shelling out some dough or taking some of that stake money.
There's what a big circle that is, huh? Aiden Ross, Trump and Dana White, AI Slop, which has Stake sponsored on a Trump Truth Social post, and then Drake being fans of Aiden Ross, being involved with Stake. I mean, it's crazy.
And turning it around and investing it and buying his back. He's not going to be owning that stuff for a long time.
Exactly. He won't. So that's another checkmate from Jay-Z. Then, like, there's so much to decipher, but this is my favorite line of the entire freestyle.
The roots remember, even when the trees pretend.
Because it has so much meaning in 2, 4, 8 words. 8 words. People could write an entire dissertation on. That is how powerful that is. Let's hear from King Green once more on it.
Saying the roots behind him, remember who he is and what he's achieved.
They also did the MTV Unplugged, which I believe is still available on Spotify, which Jaguar Wright was also on, I believe, for Heart of the City. Like, they've been there. All right. So obviously there's a double meaning with the roots.
And what his name is. He's also saying the roots of a tree, remember, the roots, the foundation, remember, even if the trees forget, the things that grew off of the roots forget. The thing that grew off of the roots forgets and is playing with his name. He's saying the roots still remember. So that's a double right there. And says not too much on my name. It's like, stop playing with my name. Don't forget who I am.
Yep.
Hattie loves her Shawnees. SHAWN.
Absurd, man. Just so good. So incredibly strong. They also have King Green and Tory have a show called Rap Latte, which is right here. You all should go subscribe to it. Here's once more from Tory, and then we're going to recap.
The roots, the guys behind me, they know who I am. They know what I'm capable of. I'm Jay-Z. I'm Marlo. These people I'm talking about who grew off of who I am, they're pretending. Dame, Kanye, Drake, they grew out of the roots that I, Jay-Z, laid down.
Right there. That's the impact. The roots remember even when the trees pretend. I'm talking about the band behind me that I have known since the 90s. Maybe even earlier. I am talking about how I planted my own roots and how there are so many branches that have gone out that have tried to either play off of my name, have either tried to cosplay me, have tried to borrow my style, have tried to borrow my flow, have tried to borrow my approach, whether it is in rhymes or even becoming an entire brand with which they have benefited off of. Don't ever forget who started all of this. Don't ever forget how you are a thing because of me. I loved it. I loved it. And yes, I have talked about Jay-Z in the past. I have talked about how he crushed the Kaepernick movement. I am strictly talking about this freestyle. One thing I didn't mention also is, like, I got MAGA Republicans. Can't have a rapper as an op. I got MAGA Republicans. This is the same dude who sat down at, whether it was a brunch or a dinner, right next to the Kushners. Same dude who tried putting a casino in the middle of New York City, which would have crushed the arts. So I have my criticisms, and you can go on video on demand, check it out on demand. I have a ton on those subjects that I've broken down, but this, flawless. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports, and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.